your name, where you're from, and what trade you're in.
Hi, my name is Royal True. I'm from Georgia, Lawrenceville, Atlanta. My trade is computer technician.
All right, so my name is Tina Reynolds. I am from Evansville, Indiana, but I actually live in Morganfield, which is where this JobCorps is located.
Hi, my name is Josh. I come from the trade computer technology. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I am currently about to be 20 in 3 months.
So my name is Jessie Paris. I'm from Henderson, Kentucky, and I'm CPP instructor.
My name is Alondra Herring. I'm from Douglasville, Georgia. My trade is UAW, and I am 21.
My name is Billy McKendry. I live in Morganfield, Kentucky. I pastor a church.
My name is Kamara Albert. I'm 20 years old and from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here for electrical.
My name is Second Lieutenant Devin Watts. I'm from Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I'm the pre-military coordinator here and the pre-military instructor here at JobCorp.
My name is Milo Kennedy. I am 19 years old and I am in the automotive program at Earle Clements JobCorp.
I'm Corey and I'm from Morganfield, Kentucky, and I am a career preparation instructor.
My name is Kaya Azar. I'm 20. I'm from Norfolk, Virginia, and I'm in culinary.
Daniel McCray. I'm 19. I'm from Atlanta, and I'm in culinary.
So what brought you to JobCorps?
Honestly, I wanted to do something different in my life.
To be honest, what I heard was that you could get paid to go to class, and that's really what locked me in for real.
I couldn't afford to stay in college, so I signed up for JobCorps with my fiance.
At a stage point in my life where I wouldn't be able to graduate even have good grades, so I was going to age out of high school.
What brought me to JobCorp is I felt like this was going to be like a good opportunity.
I had a friend of mine recommend it. She worked actually in this position before I did, and she knew that I wasn't necessarily feeling fulfilled just doing a bunch of paperwork every day. So when she saw it was open, she suggested it and said that it would be really fulfilling and a good spot for me to be. So
We're looking to work with the youth here at JobCorp. Right before I did my interview, did some research and things like that. Watched YouTube videos, and I was like, okay, this seems like an amazing place to work at. How come I've never heard of it before?
Yeah.
And so once I started doing my research, I was like really excited to actually get here and start working.
I actually applied to JobCorps twice. They called me for the second interview the first time, and I chickened out because I scared myself. I was like, these are awful big kids. I'm used to little kids. Second time, I said, they're not any different. And when I got the interview, the man that worked here, he was the center director, Mr. Barton. He said, what would you do if you were in a dorm with 78 adult males? And my response was, well, they can't eat me. And he said, I think you'll do fine here.
Was there a moment that you really felt that you were bettering a student's life?
Yes, every day.
just when you're listening and just being there for students, you kind of get the sense, not all of them, but some of them haven't had somebody to like actually listen to them.
And can I say something else about that? Not only do I feel like I bettered their lives, but I feel like that they bettered even my life.
In what way, though?
Well, just to understand and realize what life that I had to live, and then the life that they come through and how they battled, not realizing, that I had a better life than what I thought I did. And a lot of times when I was growing up in their age, I thought, man, the life is terrible. But then I come to find out, when I get to talk to the young men and young ladies that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, of how, they come through some harder struggles than what I did in their lifetime,
Every graduation, we have graduation every month. Our students do the color guard each month for our graduations, and every time I see one of my students walk across that stage, or I see them accomplish something, or I just see them doing better PT or mentally passing the TAPE test or passing the ASVAB, I feel a great sense of pride in hey, we're leaving an impact on students to better our future and ultimately our military as well too.
Many times, you come in the door thinking that you're going to do that every day, with the hope and intention that you're going to make some kind of an impact on the students. But the most profound thing for me is when they graduate, when they actually thank you and when you know then that everything you've tried to do is actually coming to fruition when you see them graduate. Now, when they get their jobs and they call you back and then they tell you, I've got my job or I'm doing this, that's the real satisfaction.
Yes.
So I think it's just, when they tell us that they feel successful or they are successful.
Was there a moment that you tried to aid an unwilling student?
Well, of course, there's always students that are unwilling to take your help.
I mean, I can't think of like one specific time, but you do almost in every class have at least one that is like
That's just not listening.
Not
That's just
listening,
like,
yeah, and kind of harder to break through too. But my motto is kind of just kill them with kindness a little bit and just smile through it, When you're tough when you have to be, but I don't know.
There are people here to help you, but at the same time, it's all up to you to improve yourself, not for them.
More than once. Not everybody comes in willing. Not everybody comes in volunteering. So many are signed up because they need to be. They were kicked out of school. They don't have a place to go. So it's not always that this is their choice. The choice is made for them, and those are the ones that are probably the most reluctant to do the program. But then once the light comes on, this epiphany moment, then they realize that this is what I can do. And so that's the beauty of the program. You see how it gets, how they elevate to this. Happened with the student we just had in a recent class. He's 16, out of control completely. Didn't want to do anything. And then he comes back, and you can just see the difference. Because he got it. He got, this is what the program can do for me. This is what could happen. And changes behaviors, it changes mindsets, it changes heart, it changes everything. And so, that's the good in it.
But for the most part, there was only 2 students that I can recall right off the top of my head that they were not going to take anything. They would cuss you out. They would just, you can't make me get out of the bed. You can't make me do this. You can't. And my thing was, no, I can't make you. But if you want to be successful, you will make yourself, because you have to be willing to work for it. And for the most part, even if they never did change around where they would do what I needed, they begin to understand that I'm trying to help you, and their behavior to be changed.
Do you have any positive stories, and would you like to share them just to clear off the negative stigma around JobCorp?
Yeah. There's been so many positive stories. It's hard, I can't think of just one. I feel like every day is a positive story. This truly is, my dream job. Just coming and hanging out with young people and, helping them in any sort of capacity.
So, as I told you that I'm a pastor of a church, they allowed me to do a 3-night revival out here at the chapel. And there were young men and young ladies that came and gave their heart and life to Jesus Christ, and that was a great experience. Also had the privilege of marrying 2 JobCorps students, and they called me about a year or so ago, and they are still married, got 3 children, working every day, and they called just to say thank you and so on and so forth. And I used to coach the basketball team. And for a long time, a lot of my basketball players would come back and stay at the hotel room here and go to church with me just to come back just to say thank you. So then I get a lot of them phone calls today, just people just saying thank you.
Every time my students accomplish anything, when my biggest memory is probably the 5K we did back in the fall, where we had a student take first place in the men's section, had a female student take first place for the female section. We even took first place for the walkers, and then I took first place for staff. It was just pre-mills coming in, we're showing out, So every time we have a competition here on campus, we had a CrossFit competition, destroyed that. We had a 5K back in March. Everybody placed in every category. It was all pre-mill. We won the pull-up competition back in the fall, pre-mill. It's always pre-mill. Anytime you need some work done, hey, you want to win a competition, call pre-mill.
well, where do you begin? Okay, so one of our students that came in, very mature, whatever, how you want to say it, and she came in and she just did everything. And she left, went to SIU, nursing, but then went to Atlanta and got a job, I think, in the healthcare field, and she's just doing great. That's only one. She came in a success already, like she had it. It's those students that you think may never make it. They're the behavior. They're the ones. They're the ones that touch you the most, because you know if somebody's going to be successful, they've got the drive. But seeing how they can change when they don't have it is really the most amazing thing, because that's the part that you go, maybe we're making an impact, maybe they're, because it wasn't done before that. It took this. So, yeah, that's probably, and there are oodles of those.
Do you have any memories that you want to share from your experience at JobCorp?
Let's see. I think my favorite right now would have to be walking back to the dorms last night, and when a staff member rode by on his bike, and all of the cats ran after him because he feeds them. And it was just a whole crowd of cats chasing this one guy on a bike. Because there's so much wildlife over here, but the cats, they tend to keep to themselves, except for some that like human interaction, but so to see all of the cats just chase after him, they just knew who he was.
My favorite memory was when I first went to culinary. It was like my third day to shadow, and the teacher automatically volunteered me to cook for CBP, not knowing how good I was, and that it was like, I want her to help me cook for CPP on my third shadow day. And then after all of that, they've been picking me because they knew how good I was and stuff like that. I've been picked for mostly everything, so.
The tournaments that we've been having, me and my best friends that I will not say I haven't had any altercations with, which is pretty cool. Cause every friend that I have, you argue. I have never argued with my best friends that I argue. We just talk it out, chill, walk around, listen to music, have fun.
The funny story were how me and Joel met a guy by the name of Michael Wyatt Pierce. He was in culinary and recently graduated about 6 months ago. And the funny part about it, to simplify the story, is that we ended up talking about girls in booty shorts, and next thing you know, we started walking around campus with him, so we had a laugh for the whole night. Needless to say, the other guys I've met here, such as maybe Sean, Brandon, who recently graduated, those guys, I would say I was cool with. Brandon being the most impactful one, because he was a real oddball, so to speak. When he first came here, he was sporadic and whatnot. I constantly know his roommate. And I said, let me see if I can help somebody out here. And so over time, over the next, I think probably 13 months, basically a year and a month, pretty much, I had helped him not only mature, but he's also gotten his act straight to where he was able to graduate culinary, even with just the basics. And as of now, he's back at home with a job.
Would you recommend JobCorp for anyone outside looking in?
Heck yeah, I would.
Definitely, I would recommend people, if this place wasn't closing, to come in here, because it would definitely change your life and get you ready for independent living skills.
Absolutely. Especially if they don't have any other options, if maybe they don't have a good home life, if they don't have the money to pursue education in other ways.
Yes, if you need help with it, I would recommend it. Get everything you need here, and it's just like your backup plan kind of JobCorp, yes. It helps you out, helps you get your whatever you need, if you need to learn how to drive, helps you with that. High school diploma helps you with your trade, help you advance more in your skills than you already are.
Have you ever had a student that got involved in a relationship, and how did that go?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. We tell them, don't we? We do, over and over again, but.
She's looking at her best friend right now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I know I keep looking
Fine.
over there,
No,
but
it's just
they
fine.
don't know them as Corey's right there.
I understand that you want to minimize it, but you can only do so much.
Now, we're not saying you can't be in a relationship, but we always tell them that if you do get in a relationship, expect some problems and issues along the way.
But some have, I mean, occasionally it does happen. And, it can happen. Like, we've had students that have actually gotten married and they're still together. And so it can happen.
I'd say I got pretty lucky coming in with my fiance because when I got here, I got to see firsthand all of the immature things that happen whenever you get into a relationship when you're not ready as a person.
Relationships at JobCorps are definitely difficult, especially when you're already coming in with one. There have been a couple guys here who are like, hey, do you have Snapchat?
Oh, yeah. Like, how do you respond to that when, people do ask?
I say the only person I talk to on Snapchat is my fiance's mother, because that's true. It definitely is difficult because I can't see them very often. They're multiple hours away. My fiance is... I miss them a lot, but they're also part of my why, part of my why I'm here, part of why I'm fighting, to work so hard and give the both of us a good life.
I do want to ask, how did you guys both meet?
12th grade in high school, I brought a chessboard because I wanted to make friends, and I left it on the table in the cafeteria. Whenever I came back, him and his friend were sitting there. And so for the first 2 weeks or so, we just played chess and texted on Instagram because at the time I was very shy and didn't really speak much.
Was there a time that you felt hopeless in assisting a student's circumstances?
Yeah, several times. There was one student I had that just, it was a lot. And I didn't really know how to help her, but
Was it like a homeless problem or like, bad family at home?
Bad, rough family, had come from really, really bad situation, was kind of dealing with the aftermath and the trauma of that, so But.
Anytime, that I feel like that a student can be successful in this program, and I believe that any student can, and when they don't give their 100% into the program and they already got negativity and you do everything that you can to pour into that student, and all of a sudden, they're resigning or they've gotten in trouble for some odd reason, I feel like when they lose, I lose. That's with any student. If they say I can't make it or I quit or whatever, I feel like that I didn't give enough into that student to help that student along. I know you can't save everybody, but in my eyeballs you can. And I feel like sometimes that probably makes me feel like that I didn't do a good enough job to help that student to say the right words or whatever to get that student to stay.
Not hopeless. There was one student that we just weren't connecting as teacher-student, right? And I thought if I just had a little more time with him, we could have connected better. But he chose to leave. And I felt like I could have done more. It really haunted me for like a few days, almost a week. That if I would have done more, his choice would not have been to leave. So as an instructor, there's constant balance, and you're just always going, well, what more could I do? What could I, you might get upset and then think, okay, well, how did this student take it? Or does, in this particular case, I know what it was. That student felt so defeated. He got his TABE scores back, and he couldn't bring himself up from thinking that he was stupid and dumb, and I can't do this. His own self-talk was talking him out of what he wasn't giving himself a chance to do. And that was disheartening. That was really hard, because I thought, oh, if just a little bit longer, a little bit more, a little bit, but he chose to go home. So he was out before I could, you know,
Have
change
you
it around.
have you ever heard from him?
No.
No, damn, that sucks. Anything you want to say about Congress shutting down an institution where it helps a lot of minors and young adults, troubled young adults and minors?
Well, no, this one I've actually sent a letter to the president, I've sent a letter to the congressmen and the senators, and I told them, you guys don't realize a lot of these students actually support your programs, they support your beliefs in wanting the country to be better, but for the most part, they feel you're turning your back on them when they're at their lowest point, and this is our future. So if you are turning them away, you're not turning your back just on them, you're turning their back on their children, their children's children. They're never gonna get out of poverty and be able to go up for the most part. Some will, some are very motivated that will, but some need that other help. So you're not just hurting the student today, you're hurting the generations to come.
Come to the program and talk to the people that work at it every day and get their ideas and opinions. They can make it better. I know they can. And, you know, we always talk about new and improved things. You know, how can you new and improve things sitting in the White House or sitting in Congress without going to that center to talk to the folks that do it every day? When you go talk to folks that do it every day, they will give you some great ideas to help better improve the program, not only for the staff, but for the students, for the community. And, you know, once you get the community involved, then it makes America great again.
The government was to reinstate JobCorps. What suggestions would you recommend for a stronger, healthier program?
That's a good question.
And I know maturity is not based on age or a number, it's based on everybody themselves. If they was to continue with the 16 and 17-year-olds in the program, if it opened back up, I think it would be good and beneficial to JobCorps to have their own dorm. And once they prove themselves in that dorm, and then maybe, you know, be out and go out into the other dormitories once they've proven themselves to, you know, be able to be independent and be able to get up on time, the whole 9 yards of what JobCorps is all about.
The only thing that I say could improve would probably be communication between staff departments. It's just one department will say one thing, another department will say another thing, but it's never anything bad. It's just making sure that we're all on the same page and all on the same accord and we're pushing all for the same objectives. For a stronger program, I believe we have to focus on looking at what jobs are in demand, making sure we have trades that fit that description. If we have a program that's not very high in demand for jobs, then we probably need to start looking at cutting that program and bringing in a new trade that, you know, is going to be supplying the jobs that we need, especially, you know, area wise. Another thing that'll probably benefit is something another staff member had already mentioned is you know, increasing the age. A lot of times, you know, you have students come in at the age of 17 and 25. They don't know what to do. I'm 26. I didn't know what I want to do. I didn't know where I was going to be after I graduated from college.
Any last words to family, friends, and even the government?
I made it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm on TV. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, I hope to God that you choose the right choice.
Hey, my peoples, I try my best. I did what I needed to do. I came and got what I needed to do. I came and got what I need. What did I say? I came and got what I needed to get. There you go. Okay.
The government, I just want to say, for 60 years, thank you for doing it. Absolutely. Thank you for this, providing this for them. And just pray that it just becomes a better thing and a better opportunity for all youth, you know, to be able to participate in.
But I don't want to give up hope, because this really is like my favorite job I've ever had, and it's hard to imagine being anywhere else.
I don't think there could be anything more rewarding than seeing young people achieve their dreams.
Is, although it looks the darkest right now, there is a silver lining somewhere, and you can make the best out of it. You can make it grow, and you can be the success you're supposed to be, or you can give up and not. It's all in your hands.
We need welders. We need deckhand. We need mechanics. We need people who are electricians. We need all of these trades. And so if the goal is to push the narrative that we need to build a skilled force, then why would we cut